Hello friends, welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. In today's video, we will be redoing our master bedroom. I have been talking about redoing it for a while now, so I'm so excited to finally be starting it and sharing it with you. But before we get started on that, I wanted to share with you some Halloween decor we put up in our living room. If you've seen any of the Harry Potter movies, you will know where I'm getting the idea from. But for a couple of years now, I thought it would be kind of cool to hang witch hats and candles from the posts in the ceiling, kind of like how they are in the dining hall in Harry Potter. I also knew that my kids would love it as they all enjoy watching the movies as the weather starts to get cooler. If you saw my previous video where I opened the Amazon package, that was the one where these were all from. I ordered some witch hats and flameless candles, and then Kyle is now hanging them for me. I am not great with heights, and he's a lot taller than me, so he offered to hang all these for me. I decided not to include the audio from this because Kyle can be kind of a big kid sometimes, and he was giving me major anxiety the whole time. I was so nervous about him falling. The hats came with clear plastic line, similar to fishing line, so we hung a hat on each end of like a long piece of the line, and Kyle hung it over the middle beam of our ceiling. The candles were a little trickier. We didn't know how to hang them so that they wouldn't hang sideways. We ended up putting rubber bands around each candle and then tying the line to the rubber bands. These candles are flameless wax candles. They have a remote and are on timers, so they come on for just a few hours each evening. The camera does not end up doing it justice, but it ends up being really, really cool. Even during the day, it's really cool to look up and there'll be like witch hats hanging in the ceiling. And then in the evening when the candles come on, it's just super, I don't know, it just feels like fall. It feels like Halloween. It's just very enchanting in a way. It's very neat. And I'm so happy with how it turned out. The kids loved it. They thought it was the coolest thing. The boys were playing outside when we were doing this, and they came in and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." So they love it. They think it's really neat. So I know I've mentioned a ton of times on previous videos, but we repainted our bedroom this white color, and I think it's like agreeable gray on the bottom, which we both thought it looked nice. It just wasn't what we both wanted. I wanted something more bold, dark, dramatic, but I had never done paint like that, so the thought of it kind of scared me. And Kyle, he was just like, it's just paint. We can always paint over it. So that's so true. So we ended up just going for it. And if, it ends up our styles change or anything like that, we can always paint it back. But I love it. It is the drama that I was looking for. I do also want to add that it is not 100% done. I very much like thrifting and just slowly adding to things. So that is what I plan on doing here. We have it painted. I have some things that I hung up, but I want to just slowly add things as I find them. I want to thrift them and really just be intentional about things. So that's why it is painted, but it's not 100% complete, and it will take time, and I'll just go ahead and update as we go. But Kyle wanted to take pretty much all of the furniture and stuff out of our room before starting. Last time when we painted this white, we kind of just moved things as we painted, and we put things like in the middle of the room, and he didn't want to do that. This dresser is very heavy, so he didn't want to move it too far, and our bed also, we weren't going to move that out, so we just moved that away from the wall when it came time to paint. And as you can see here, we've already started painting. This color I will put in the description box what it was called below, but because I can't remember it offhand. But it's like a really deep brown. It almost seems purple at times, but it is a very deep dark brown. There's times where as the day goes, it almost changes colors. I feel like it's brown, it's black, it's purple. It's just very pretty, I feel like. And I was wanting to do a bunch of gold and wood accents. So after I put those up, I felt like it really, really went well with those colors. I also have a lot of plants, and I will be moving around our plants now that the weather is starting to get cooler. I'll be bringing stuff inside. So this color also went really well with the different plants that I have. If you're curious about any of the other projects that I have planned for our bedroom, one of them is to redo our doors. They are old and they have porcelain knobs on them. They're very pretty, but some of the other doors in the house, the previous owner had sanded down, and I really love the look of it. So I think I want to do that with our doors as well. Also, the floors in our bedroom, eventually that will probably wait quite a while, but the floors in our bedroom, are the original hardwood, and they're at the point where they need redone. So eventually we'll get to that. It's not really a main concern of mine right now, so I'll end up putting it off for a little while, but that's something that I want done. I also have my eye out for some small dressers for like nightstands that I can redo and kind of bring back to life. I really enjoyed doing our kitchen island, so I would like to find matching or very similar dressers that I could put on each side. Again, they would have to be kind of small, so I've been looking for that. I'll continue, and whenever I find it, I'll end up getting it, but that's something I would like to do. We, if you remember, had those big gold lamps. I don't think we're going to end up using them in our bedroom. They're just way too big. So we might end up doing like some gold sconces on the side of our beds for light. And at some point, I would like to replace our rug. We've had it for years, and I would just like a new, fresh one. But again, all this is just kind of as it happens. It's just going to be a slow process, and I'm totally okay with that. Over the years, I've learned that I really like to be more intentional with my items, especially because I don't do very well with clutter. I get a lot of anxiety and I don't like my mental state when there's a ton of clutter. So I try to not add to the clutter and be more intentional with the items I bring into our house. So projects kind of seem like they take quite a while, but it's just because I am slowly picking everything out and really loving the pieces that I bring in. I think it's very easy these days for people to see others on social media, on YouTube, and try to keep up with the Joneses. It's easy to see all the things that they're adding to their house, especially this time of year where everybody is decorating for the holidays, and go out to TJ Maxx and accumulate a bunch of things that are the new in things to get. And I feel like that adds to a chaotic feeling. At least it does for me. So I tend to shop my house a lot when I'm decorating. I will move things around quite a bit just because I'm shopping my house instead of going out and buying something. And then if I don't find anything, I kind of just stay on the lookout for stuff that I am looking for, and I eventually find it or I move on to the next thing. I just don't do well with clutter, so I try to be very, very intentional about everything. So, as we were wrapping up the painting from our room, I wanted to go ahead and put in the footage of my husband making our faux fireplace for our bedroom. When I originally brought this project up to my husband, it was an immediate yes. Like he's a cozy kind of guy. He loves fireplaces and building fires. He really loves like our winter lifestyle because it's very much cooking on the fire and a lot of like homestead. It feels more homestead in the winter here. So when I brought up the idea of wanting to add a faux fireplace in our bedroom, he loved it and jumped immediately on it. So he is building that now. And like I said, it's just a faux one. We've talked about maybe putting in like one of those little electric ones in the bottom that actually does put out heat. But for now, we have a bunch of candles and books, and they're all flameless candles. So they come on, on a timer every day. But they're not burning the books or anything. But yeah, it was just something decorative that we both really thought was cool. Totally unnecessary, but we both really enjoy having it. This was also something that has slowly been coming together. He put it together and we went ahead and stained it right off the bat, but the decorative pieces that were put on it, I have been thrifting for a couple of weeks now. I'm not even sure quite what they are, but I found these. They were white plaster. They almost look like bookends, but they're not bookends, so they're like decorative pieces that go on the wall. I found those at a local thrift store, and I think I actually put footage in a different video of my daughter and I painting them a brushed gold. So we added those onto the fireplace, and they had a really great touch. We've just been slowly adding to it, again, like we do everything else. When I was telling him what I wanted for the fireplace, one of my biggest things was I wanted it to be rustic and I wanted a big chunky mantle. In other parts of our house, we have reclaimed barn wood and beams and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted it to somewhat flow with that and remind me of those pieces in the other parts of our house. And it's hard to see here, but how he put it together, it looks like one big chunk of wood, which is exactly what I was wanting. My goal for this project was also to keep the costs minimal. So the only thing that we actually had to purchase were the pieces of wood for the mantle that he's working on and the stain. Everything else we already had on hand, so we didn't have to purchase anything else other than that. We were discussing the stain choice that I made here because I'm not usually one that likes the dark stains until recently. Now I really love them, but for a while I only really liked lighter finishes. And I mean, one of our previous projects that we just did recently, I chose a light stain, but it was so light that you couldn't even tell that it was stained. It just looked like I put a clear coat on it, and he was kind of making fun of me the whole time. But anyway, so I chose this one, and I again got very nervous that, oh gosh, what if it's not what I wanted? And he was just reassuring me that it can always be stained off or removed. But ultimately, I'm glad that I went with the darker stain because it was exactly what I was looking for. And it's funny because I have all these design visions in my head, stuff that I want to bring to life, but I always question it, especially if it's new. I always question, like, oh, am I wrong? Like, is this going to look so bad once it's put together? And I don't know why, because you can always redo it. You can always finish it how you like it. And I don't know why I always go through that thought process now, but I'm always second guessing myself. And it's nice though, because Kyle, he always is there to reassure me. Like, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. So I really need to change that whole mindset that I have, because it usually turns out exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what I wanted. So I don't know why I question myself in the first place. Don't know if I'm the only one. What I'm doing here is a technique that I do with a lot of vases and stuff that I get at thrift stores. I read a tutorial years ago about adding flour or cornstarch to paint to make it look textured, to make it look more like stone. And I wanted a stone, I don't even know what it's called, like backdrop of the fireplace. So that's how I was achieving it here. I added flour to some white and gray paint. I just kind of mixed it all together until it was the thickness I was looking for. And then I painted it on fairly heavy. It looks really heavy paint, but that's actually thicker parts from the flour. Now that that's dried, he's adding it to the back of the fireplace, and then he'll secure the fireplace to the wall. And then you'll be able to see the finished product, or at least finished for now product of our master bedroom with the paint and all the details that we hung up. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as we worked on our master bedroom. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye.